G'day everyone. Yesterday, Steven Spielberg dropped the trailer for his new movie Disclosure Day. Not out till summer in America, so another 7 months away or so. But for people who are into the UFO scene, it's pretty cool to see him doing another alien contact movie. So we thought we'd give it a quick look and maybe give some of our thoughts on it from what we know of Spielberg and what we know about the UFO scene. So we might just check that out.
If you found out we weren't alone, if someone showed you, proved it to you, would that frighten you?
Good morning, Kansas City. Let's take a look at today. Today's.
People have a right to know the truth. It belongs to 7 billion people.
What is it?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you. So I'm going to show you.
What are you gonna do?
Full disclosure to the whole world. All at once.
People keep wondering. Encountering the unknown.
They're coming! They're coming!
They are starved for the truth.
Do you think there could be others?
Why would he make such a vast universe? Yet save it only for us?
Okay. So some of your thoughts on that first, Miguel? For me, it's I have to say, like, I know, like, it's actually good when trailers don't give too much away.
Exactly.
But my first feeling, on the other hand, also is that at the moment it just feels like a movie that maybe anyone could have made. Like, I'm not feeling like that, a lot of that Spielberg vibe of a Close Encounters or an E.T. or something like that. And obviously this is a long way out, and they're just giving glimpses of some of the things. Some of it I'm going, is it just going to be a middling movie? Like, there wasn't any emotional, I think that's probably the thing, there's no emotional thing in the trailer, but can you expect emotional things from the trailer?
That's a good point. I don't know, like, I don't remember. I do remember, I guess, the trailers from movies like E.T., the Extraterrestrial, which was really, like, magical, especially the way that, like you said, he conceals things. Like, we only got to see for the longest time just the hand of E.T., just showing, like, saying, oh, what the hell is that? And
It's a lot of people. It's a good point that, like, maybe he's not revealing what's, the central, being or whatever in it so far. So,
yeah, well, maybe there aren't any beings, I was talking with Tim Binal yesterday night about that, and he said, well, maybe the big thing is the way that Spielberg is going to fuck with all of us is that there are no aliens, and that's has happened before, with the movie Contact. In the end, they were saying, oh, I was expected to see the aliens. Like, well, the point is that aliens will be so incomprehensible to us, that we really can't grasp how they will look like. And also, so many things that I want to say. Like, I was checking the reactions, because it was a huge reaction, obviously from public in general, but especially among the UFO online community. And I feel that there was a lot of disappointment, like some people say, stick to flying saucers, bro. Like, well, dude, This movie was directed by Steven Spielberg, not Steven Greer. I wanted to say that. I mean, and he already did the flying saucers with lights hovering over cities. He did it in 1977 before most of the people pitching about it on Blue Sky or X were even born. So he did it already, and so I think he's exploring other ideas about the UFO phenomenon that from the ones that he's already explored. He explored the kind of nuts and boltsy aspect of the phenomenon with Close Encounters of the Third Kind. The other one that people seem to forget, aside from War of the Worlds, which was like movie adaptation of an old book, the sci-fi classic by H.G. Wells. But the other one that people forget is this limited TV series, Taken. That was produced by for HBO. I think it was Dakota Fanning's first chance at stardom, and it's really good. I think it was 8 chapters. I still have it on DVD. Exploring the UFO phenomenon over the decades, starting with Roswell up to the present day, and also following the story of 2 families that were somehow intertwined their lives with the UFO phenomenon from 2 different points of view. One of them is they were the contactees, or the ones who had been contacted by the phenomenon. The other ones were the family of the people who were from the government, trying to understand it and even trying to contain it. So that TV series was really interesting to me because not only, I think he did a really good job of showing many aspects of the UFO phenomenon, like abductions, implants, crop circles, things like that. Also, connecting with famous historical events in UFO history, but also the idea of exploring how, maybe the UFO phenomenon has to do with things that go beyond our understanding of time and space, how maybe the aliens are capable of bending reality in ways we are not even able to grasp, and maybe how it could even be connected to death itself. So if you look from that perspective, Steven Spielberg is already in this side of the UFO discussion, whereas the majority of the people, the public is here, and maybe the people who are interested in UFO phenomena are here, but Spielberg is here, and also because he's also obviously consulting with the leading figures in the field, and I'm not sure if Vallée was consulted. I strongly suspect that Diana Pasulka and Jeffrey Kripal were consultants in this movie, especially, maybe I'm being too simplistic, but the religious iconography, Catholic iconography in the trailer, to me spoke volumes. So I'm gonna stop talking right now because I want to, see your reactions to it before I continue.
Yeah, I think I'll come back to the Catholic aspect because it did seem to be present in multiple parts of that trailer. I think if I go through all the things, if I start with the most obvious that people are talking about, I think I saw one commenter basically say everything was going normal, and then she just started beatboxing, basically the alien language. So
yeah, the light language, right? There's a gazillion YouTube channels of people who are channeling higher beings or the aliens, and they start doing the I don't know if Spielberg is riffing about that, or maybe he's going to take it to a different direction. But yeah, it reminded me of that.
It's interesting. When I first saw it, I immediately went, "Oh, she's channeling the alien, or the alien is controlling, or whatever." But afterwards, I was going, "Why did I assume that? Maybe she is alien right from the start. Maybe she's just an alien that is on Earth. I don't know."
I assume that she is an orphan. I mean, the idea of showing the nurses and nurses and orphanage, it's kind of very clear cut, and also the idea that maybe people who were orphans, it's part of the lore that maybe they are somehow, I don't know, alien human hybrids, right? It's a pretty common thing, or rather, let me rephrase that. It's a very common belief among people who are interested in the UFO phenomenon.
There is also an interesting. There seems to be some control, like Colin Firth's character is holding something and controlling a female at some stage.
Mhm.
And also, I don't know, not sure a lot of people picked up on it, but there's one little scene there where the camera pans behind the head of maybe Colin Firth, and it's someone else. And then when it comes on the other side of the head, it's not the same person. It's now Emily Blunt's character.
I need to check that out. Yeah.
So I don't know whether, again, there's that thing of like, consciousnesses inhabiting other consciousnesses, or some aspect of that in the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I saw the chair and I instantly thought of two things. One is Diana Pasulka's American Cosmic, and what she wrote about this enigmatic character, Tyler D, and how his protocols involve sitting in a chair inside a Faraday cage, so there is no interruptions, and there is no like emissions from electromagnetic things getting into this closed space. And like he goes there and he is like downloading information from the aliens, allegedly. And another thing that reminded me is Nick Redfern's Final Events. Probably, I don't know if it's there, if Spielberg is going to explore that idea. I mean, it's so going so strong with the religious stuff, so I don't know if he's going to entertain some of the characters saying, well, the aliens are demons, but according to Nick Redfern, there was this group, the Collins Elite, or a branch of the Collins Elite that were trying to get into communication with the aliens using like remote viewing and staying in these closed rooms, sitting in these kind of like dentist types chairs. And some of those people were injured, like they got brain damage or whatever, so the rationale goes that like the aliens are not nice. They didn't take kindly of the humans trying to like almost like erupt into their domain.
Another big part of that trailer seems to be the animals, like all the way through. There's animals coming to the humans.
Yeah.
Do you see that as like some sort of totemic thing? Is it just like animal consciousness, like animals showing that they are aware of these things? Or is it, related to the whole alien abduction thing of people?
Screen memories?
Screen memories, basically. I think there's probably too many animals to be screen memories, but I don't know.
I don't know, because the
it
animals
seems to be sorry, it seems to be central because the posters have that silhouette of the bird in them, and the bird lands on the table, so it seems to be a central thing to the theme of the movie, you'd imagine.
Yeah, the red cardinal is definitely a powerful symbol throughout the movie for Emily Blunt's character. I mean, when she is dressed in red, when she's like starting to like I don't know, channel the alien language or whatever. But yeah, I'm still uncertain about whether Spielberg is going to, the animals are going to start acting weird when the alien presence becomes stronger in our planet, or the animals are like screen memories, or the animals are being controlled by the aliens. I mean, that's another thing that's being proposed even by Whitley Strieber. He said, the aliens are capable of like using animals like owls, as some type of like biological drone surveillance system. But also the idea that the animals are leading the girl to what seems to be a cabin, a log cabin with all the lights coming out of it, very bright. Maybe you say, oh, that was not a cabin. That was actually, a
True. I didn't think
craft.
about that. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
mhm.
Kerry Mullis had that same thing. The Nobel Prize winner. He had like a talking raccoon or something.
Yeah, talking
Same sort
raccoon.
of deal.
Yeah.
But I didn't even think about that house. I was going to comment that's the most Spielbergian bit of that trailer was the house glowing. He's just so famous for using lights in that way. You think of the start of Close Encounters, where the boy's going to the door and the lights are coming through. Similar kind of thing, just lights beaming out of the house everywhere. That was just that made me go, okay, it's a Spielberg film. But I did not even make the connection that you just did. Maybe it's screen memory, maybe it's UFO or something like that.
There's
Sorry, you
definitely
were gonna say something?
there's definitely an aspect which is, I think, very Spielbergian of government operatives pursuing the leading characters. Even from E.T. the Extraterrestrial or Close Encounters, Roy Neary. So you seems to be like all these black bands from the like the black government or secret government that I don't know if the character played by, I think his name is Josh Connor, he's going to be like part of the I don't know, like the government that wants disclosure, and there's another faction that is going to fight them or going to try to silence them. But there's definitely this aspect of there's going to be resistance from certain elements of the government toward this disclosure, this revealing of the truth that, as the trailer goes, it belongs to all the people on Earth. If they really knew that we're not alone.
Speaking of that disclosure, I was thinking, like, is it cynical marketing? I don't think it really is cynical marketing. Like, disclosure has just been such a thing for the last, since the New York Times, since all the government people started coming out with their whistleblowing, scare quotes. Disclosure's been this thing, but I don't think it'd be like a marketing. In our community, it's been a thing, but I don't think in the wider community, this whole disclosure thing is something that you could really market off. It's not. People are much more concerned about other things than disclosure. So is Spielberg like just following all what's been happening? He's just been inspired by what's happening. Or is he making a statement on it? Yeah, again, we're speculating completely.
Yeah, I'm speculating too, because I told him now that he has a history of like grabbing what's already in the literature, right? And that's why he used the term Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And then he actually got into trouble because some of the producers said, hey, guess what? This term has been copyrighted by this fellow, A.J. Allen Hynek. So that's really the main reason, the first reason why Hynek ended up consulting for Spielberg, because Spielberg said, oh shit, I need to acknowledge this guy. So I don't know if I feel Tim and I were saying, why did he use to stick with the term disclosure for the title? Is it just lazy PR to say, well, the title is out there already, so we don't really have to do much. And also the fact that disclosure is not a term that you could copyright. I'm sure there are people in the UFO world who have tried to copyright the goddamn word, but obviously they can't. So maybe it's a little bit of A, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, and say, well, it works. But yeah, I was surprised. Oh, so he's stuck with disclosure day after all, like, okay. I was expecting, like, I don't know, some more vague or more, original title, but hey, that's what we got.
Yeah, it is, pretty straight up UFO terminology. Again, though, like, will it appeal to wider audiences? Will they see that on the list of movies that are on and go, oh, I need to see that?
I'm sure some people say, well, is this has related to this Age of Disclosure documentary that was also released? Do I have to watch this before I go understand the movie? Yeah, I'm sure that some people will find it confusing, but it also occurs to me, like, going again to the religious connotations, disclosure and revelation are basically the same word in the English language, you know. And revelation is basically the English term for the Greek word apocalypse, you know, which is the last book in the New Testament, and then is a book that has kept all people, you know, like going crazy trying to decipher it, you know, about the end of the world. I mean, this is eschatology. Disclosure is, at the end of the day, is about end times, eschatology, the same way that in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, you have all these religious, symbolic imagery of the new Jerusalem in the image of the giant mothership coming down into from the heavens into the earth. Then it opens at what happens, you know, the resurrection of the dead, all those people that have been, you know, abducted by the aliens since the 1940s or God knows where, you know, and returning finally among the living, you know. So it's obviously that Spielberg is going to play with that, you know. I don't know to what end, and I feel I'm personally comfortable with that, because I'm tired of, I mean, like I said, I'm tired of the purely nuts and boltsy aspects of the or of the phenomenon, even if it is just explored from a movie cinematographic point of view. You know, I don't want to see that, you know, in a movie anymore.
And it's just going back to the disclosure point. I did see like quite a few comments under the trailer where just the disclosure guys in the ET community are very excited that this is all part of the prepping the population, getting them used to the idea that, you know, that they all think it's just part of the greater plan, which is just kind of humorous to me. It's just a movie in the end of the day.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'm sure there will be at least 5 people who say that, yeah, that Spielberg is part of the secret cabal that is prepping the world for the big reveal, the big disclosure.
Just returning to, you know, you mentioned that Christian Catholic element to the movie. It does very, you know, if anyone's read the literature, especially Diana Pasulka's work recently, it has been a while since I've read her things, but, you know, she was talking about Catholic archives, all that kind of thing. So I'm wondering whether Spielberg's, you know, been really entertained by those books. And I think her next book, even, Diana Pasulka, is called The Others, I think it might be called. Correct me if I'm wrong. Coming out next year. And it's basically about, well, the blurb is a little bit mysterious, but it's about Catholic priests who've found a new type of consciousness, and it's alien and all this kind of, like, it's all a little bit cryptic. But it just made me think maybe she's talking about Teilhard de Chardin and the Noosphere.
Sure.
And so just the way the trailer talks about, or not talks about, but shows everyone on their phones and all this kind of thing. I was wondering whether, you know, maybe it's going down that path of like this alien thing is a global consciousness, and it ties into that in terms of like the internet and all that emerging from the internet.
Could be, like maybe something, like, AI is the alien intelligence that needed to emerge into our world through our technology, and this is something that Pasulka already wrote about in his other book, Encounters. You know,
so The Others is the title of The Others is The Others, UFOs, AI, and the Secret Forces Guiding Human Destiny. So
yeah, I mean, she's really going into that direction, that AI and alien intelligence is almost like one and the same, and mixing it up like almost like spicing it for the Catholic audience using Teilhard de Chardin. And I'm sure there are a lot of tech bros who have read Teilhard de Chardin and say, yeah, this is my jam, but obviously doing exactly the opposite of what Teilhard de Chardin was intending, the same way that fucking Adolf Hitler read Nietzsche and say, the Superman, that's what we need to do. It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. Hopefully Spielberg's not gone that way, because I'm not sure hitching your wagon to this tech bros thing, the way opinion and polls are going.
I don't know. Them. I mean, one aspect that I saw an interview with him and Stephen Colbert, and I think that Stephen, asked him about, his opinion about the UFO revelations and all that. And it's obvious, like you said, it's obvious that Spielberg always keeps his ear to the ground, to check what's going on in the field, because he said, well, there are people who say that that the aliens may be humans from the future, because that's another hypothesis that's getting a lot of traction, especially among the pro-disclosure people that come from the government, that worked in the government, or that were former government operatives, or they come from, have a background in the national security state.
Is that what if they're not from an advanced civilization 300 million light years from here? But what if it's us 500,000 years into the future that is coming back to document the second half of the 20th century and into the first 20th century, because they're anthropologists and they know something that we don't quite know yet?
They are really, I think that maybe they think that's more palatable, to the public, the idea that, no, they're really not coming from another planet. They're coming from, another era or another possible future. I don't know.
I do remember that interview, and maybe that is a tell. Like sometimes you can't help but talk about the thing that you're working on, or that's in your mind. So maybe that is an aspect that maybe it's something to do with people from the future. There was the line talking about, if God created this world, why would he make it just for us or whatever, which suggests it's something else. I did wonder with all the animals in it and that line, I was thinking maybe there'd be a little switch up, that we're surrounded. There's been a little thing I've said humorously lately, is that we're looking for aliens out in space, and we're looking for aliens in our computers, and we're surrounded by all these intelligences all around us in animal species, and we just ignore all them. So I was wondering whether there could be a little flip on that in some way.
Yeah, I'm sure all our witch friends, people who are practicing magicians, will love it if Spielberg went out and say, hey, it's Gaia. It's the Gaia consciousness. It's the Gaia energy that's trying to communicate with us, to try and to convince us to take better care of the planet, because it's the only one we have, it's the only safe raft we'll have, across billions of years of emptiness. So, this is our only shot.
There is, though, the technology, that little thing that is Colin Firth uses to control someone, and then Emily Blunt, I think, is holding the same thing at the end, that suggests there is some sort of alien technology aspect to it, or humans from the future aspect in some way. One other little bit that just flashes on also is a crop circle being formed as the guy's standing in the field. So nice to see one little trope still in there.
Yeah, it's nice to see that the crop circles are still remembered, even though all those videos of spheres of light coming into the fields and revealing the crop circle in a matter of seconds, all those videos, sorry to say, were debunked decades ago. They're not real, as far as I personally can say, 99.9% of all crop circles are man-made. That does not mean they are not anomalous or even, paranormal in other aspects. But when it comes to the handiwork, good old-fashioned human labor with a plank.
Yeah. I know people that have made them and do make them, and very complex ones. So, my personal comment on, years ago, I was intrigued by crop circles. As time has gone on, it's one of those things where I've gone, I think it's just human art. But also, I don't write it off that, maybe in days past, it did, some sort of forces, whether earthly or something else, did create them. But I think most common ones, especially the most complex ones, it's kind of ironic. It's the ones that get people's attention. They're the ones that are most likely to be human-made, in my opinion. Whereas your Tully saucer nests or something like that, that may actually be some other force.
Yeah, there's that one that was really complex, and I'm almost certain that it's man-made, but it was so interesting because it seemed to be like the answer to the original Arecibo message, right?
Yeah.
And it even had these really complex portrait of a gray alien, and with this cryptic message like beware the gifters of false gifts or something to that effect, and there's still hope, something like that, like troubled times ahead. I mean, like I said, kudos to the guys who pulled that off, but still intriguing. That's the beauty of the crop circle enigma, that it leaves that room for ambiguity, and that's where the magic, creeps in.
Yeah, that's where art can can actually work on human consciousness. It can open up possibilities and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I've pretty much covered everything that I noticed in the trailer. Is there anything else that you saw?
No, I'm looking forward to watch another UFO Spielberg movie in the future. It's probably not the only UFO related movie that Hollywood is going to release next year, I'm sure, because these kind of things like studios like prep stuff years and years in advance, but yeah, really interesting. Day of disclosure, hopefully we'll get to watch it before there is like a World War III.
Yeah.
Or maybe tomorrow 3i Atlas is actually going to say, surprise, motherfuckers.
That's right. It's 19th
tomorrow,
December. Yeah.
Tomorrow is the last day.
Well, that'd ruin the marketing for the movie, wouldn't it?
Or maybe the aliens are, trying to say, yes, we're coming to see the movie too. It took us 30 years. They say, hey, we want to see Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Well, no, what a coincidence. You're just in time. They're going to be in the red carpet and all.
Okay, we'll wind it up there. If you've got some theories or you notice anything in the trailer that we didn't, post away in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts and analyze it, even though, as I said, we still really have no idea what it's about. We're speculating completely, but it's just great to see another Spielberg movie on the way, on UFOs especially. So, yeah, drop a note in the comments if you've got some thoughts, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Bye.